Let's get started. And while, other people are, going to come in finishing up their calls, possibly, go and get a rest or grab a glass of water before they join us. So welcome, everyone. My name is Beate Chalette, and here with me is Kim. Kim is my trusted executive everything, and I'll bring her in here and there to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're doing. Today, we're talking about authority platform building, and we are going to be talking about sort of what it is that you need to do or what you want to do to build your authority. So I'm going to start my presentation now. So we are here talking about authority building and client attraction machine. We're going to go to about 30,000 feet, and then I want to land the plane and help you to understand some of the pieces that go into authority platform building. And I'm going to start just to give you an overview, and then I'm going to ask you a question. So the way we build growth architecture, we built this in 4 different pieces. So the first thing is you need a strategy. That's designed by where you want to go with your business. The second thing is you need a system. That's a client transformation journey, and that typically is your differentiation factor. The third part is authority, which is what we're going to be talking about today, why they want to work with you. And the final piece then is client attraction. So I want to open this to you and put this in the chat. Why, what does more authority mean for your business? This is really the question. Why are you here? Why does this matter? And why does this matter right now? And I really encourage you to use the chat feature. I want this to be interactive. We can all learn from each other and really make this a lot more valuable to you when I see what your responses are and what you're saying, so that, I can specifically respond to some of the things that you're bringing up. So what is authority? Why does this matter to you for your in your business? Hi, Jabez, how are you? It's always great to see you. Yes, everybody in LA is having a good day. So why does authority matter to you? In my world, what I see, authority is the status that you need to, Sarah says it, to have leadership, to have trust. Tabby says easier client enrollment, more public speaking opportunities, more social impact. Hi, Tabby. Great to see you here. Yes, that's absolutely correct. So authority means it is a kind of a natural and non-salesy way to demonstrate your expertise with, by being in front of people without being in their face. Blake says that it sets you apart. Marquita says to be highly respected. Exactly. That's what authority means. Excellent job, everyone, on this. So I want to talk a little bit about the challenges in the market. And again, this is interactive. So jump in and tell me what challenges have you noticed in the market right now? So number one, the challenge that I see that probably most everybody is challenged with is, how do you set yourself apart from everyone else? Another challenge is that there is a huge market realignment and shift, and there's a lot of pressure on you to remain relevant. That's especially if you've been doing things for certain times, or you've had courses for a number of years, and now suddenly things are not working so well anymore, and you wonder, is this even still relevant? What is this even about? So chime in and let me know, what are the challenges that you are experiencing in this market? We've seen, the competition is flooding the market. Why? Because the people that got laid off from their corporate jobs or quit are now consultants, and they take a 10-hour consulting course or coaching course, and now they're wanting a slice of the pie. I mean, you might be one of them. And this erodes prices. And there are shrinking of frozen budgets, and there are people that want to take fewer risks, and there is a smaller pie available for most people. So Marquita says the market is oversaturated. And how do you help and find, how do you find and help ideal clients? Tabby says 1 and 2, differentiation factor, market realignment, and remaining relevance. Thank you all for your honesty. I really appreciate that. So I want to talk a little bit about sort of the things that we do. I don't go too deep into that because this is really focused on you. But we have worked with a number of different clients, and this is about the relevancy to you. So from digital marketing agencies to healers to data scientists to large companies like Amazon and Reckitt, we really help people that have a vision, that are here to primarily make an impact, that are impact-driven entrepreneurs or business owners. That's our specialty. The more non-conforming, the bigger, crazier the idea, the more visionary, the more impact-driven, the better it is. We love that. On whether we sit with our clients on the floor and arranging these offers, but our clients have made millions as a result of it. And I want to be very clear because we talk about authority, right? I want to be clear that authority is specific to what you want to be an authority in, or what authority means for you. Not everybody wants to have $1 million business or a $2 million business. Some people are happy just to be in, the 6-figure income range, and they are preferring a work-life balance over the stress that it sometimes takes to build a business. So that is the question. Why does authority matter? And I want you to think about this. Why does this matter today in this market where we are at? Because there are people that are not building their authority, and they're plenty of busy. They have referrals and whatever else. But why is authority relevant right now? What is it about that is so desirable? And in what I see, the authority is relevant and it matters because when somebody hears your name, what is the first thing they do? Check out my friend Beate. What's the first thing that they do? They Google you and they check out your social media presence and your website. If what is on your social media, the outward-facing authority that you present, that is your window of verification, if that is not consistent, and if that is not filled with authority or expert status, or demonstrate that, or it is confusing, it's over. Why? Because there's so many people out there that are already doing what you are doing. And if they're better at this than you are, and they go like, yeah, I kind of like her, she's cool, but, she's only got like 200 followers, and, the posting's kind of like, I'm really not interested in the content that you post. What's it doing for me? Because what's the one thing everybody wants to know from you? What are you going to be doing for them? So your response is, Asia. Hi, Asia. How are you? Website, socials, LinkedIn. Asia, I might bring you up because Asia and I, we just worked together and we did just a phenomenal positioning for her. Asia is amazing. Kim says, look you up on socials. Ava said, absolutely. I like it when I'm right. And Marquita says, if you have no authority, no one believe in your capabilities. That is it. If you don't show that you have authority, nobody believes. Please me. Asia says she already called me out, only 200 people on IG. Well, we're going to change that because that is really important. It's actually interesting. I'm going to talk about this for a second because this just happened. So when Asia and we worked together, and she had said to me that her clients go on Instagram to check her out, and she doesn't have a lot of followers. So she feels like she doesn't have the authority when they go on her Instagram to do this. But how much time does Asia have to do her social media? Because it's very time consuming. So it's important for you that and there's no judgment here. I'm just going to lay this out on what you want to do or not do, and whether what we are going to offer today is right for you or not. I'm going to just say it now so you don't have to wait for it. It's not going to be awkward. We are launching a content maximization service that will bring you at minimum 65 to 130 touch points per month. We provide the VA, we provide the system, we do everything. You just have to give us 4 pieces of content or additional content. So I'm going to lay all of that out. So that's it. That's what we're going to talk about today, because I see this all the time, and it pains me in my heart to see how it works. So for entrepreneurs, service providers, coaches, consultants, visionary, and experts, authority is absolutely everything. Right? So my goal today is to show you the path to grow your authority and how to build your client attraction machine. We're going to touch on that. And don't go too deep into that, because this is the authority piece, the content maximization piece. And I want today to help you figure out where your priority challenge is, so you know what the first step is that you need to do to build your authority. It might not be what I'm offering today. It might not be right for everybody. So I'm just saying that I don't know this yet. So we are going to dive into this, and then you tell me where you want to start, and then we'll see if I can help you with it. And I want to help you to support you with the creation of the plan to build your authority and your client attraction system. So for those of you who have never heard of me, I think there's a couple of people here that I knew that have not seen my name before. I'm originally from Germany. I come from a very middle class family. I am probably, like many people, one of those people who always felt like I wasn't completely fitting into the mold. And I was one of those people that, looked at the airplanes leaving Germany and I wondered where they go. And then one day, as I got deep into my career as in photography, so I'm a creative by heart, and I realized that I'm just better at the business. Whether that's because I'm German or because systems running in my blood, who knows? I just happen to be, really good at looking at the chronological order of things, organizing things, building systems around it, and maximizing it. And I'm lucky to have Kim on my team. And so the things that I come up with, she can go with an engineering background, and she builds out the whole back end system. And well, and I always think that you have to learn how to be really good at what you're good at, and then build your support system to do the things that you need to do and that are part of the strategy to build your business forward. But you cannot be everything to everyone. And I bet that many of you do way more than you should be doing. And that's part of why you are not growing. I have read something, and I really want to talk to you about this this morning. So I'm started back my mindset challenge that I've done. And so today's session was about that every time you quit on something, you are lowering the bar of your own expectation of what you can achieve. And that really resonated with me, because I felt that we often see that we need to be doing something, and we know we need to be doing something, and then we back off. And that is because we have a fear and shame around failure. If we were to reframe failure, and I don't know if you've ever read the book, Quantum Leap, the U Square by Bryce Pritchett, where he says that failure is needed for a quantum leap. That failure is kind of the mechanism that helps you try things. And then when you have figured out what works and what doesn't work, that's when the energy is designed to give you a quantum leap. Confusion, anxiety, and failure are part of growth. So as we are going into talking about today, the changes that you may need to do to really grow your business in an environment right now that, especially for consultants and coaches, is extremely volatile and filled with a lot of qualified and a lot of unqualified people, right? You're going to have to get a lot more comfortable with that. And you're going to have to trust that the things that are in front of you are often an opportunity by God, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, for you to really give you an opportunity to change something. And whether that is me or somebody else, I don't know what resonates with you, but you're here right now. So I really encourage you to lean into these ideas a little bit today, and to say, well, what would happen if I really step into this part and move forward and say, I am going to commit to my success? Because in the middle, I always call this the messy middle, everything looks like failure. And then he said this morning, I thought that was really brilliant. He said, in the middle of a operation, of a surgery, it looks like somebody has been murdered. Right? I mean, that's the messy middle for you. So the key is, and I wanted to say this ahead of time, the key for you is, no matter what you do, please don't stop. Just because something doesn't work, or you're afraid, or you don't have the money, or there's a lack of courage, right? And maybe Kim will share a little bit of some of the things that she had to overcome when she stepped out of being an engineer, right, into becoming a virtual assistant, until God brought us together in this wonderful moment, and been kind of working together. But Kim, you've been overcoming some things too of fear and courage, haven't you?
Definitely. Stepping out of something that you thought would be your destiny, and jumping into a different path is, of course, there's so much fear, anxiety that comes with it. But as what you've said, you never really know where your decisions will take you, because none of us knows what's really destined for us. So it takes a lot of courage, and I'm glad I was able to pursue that. And yeah, I'm very happy. Not really you are ready. Yeah. It's like doing it scared.
I
Doing
like
it
that.
afraid.
Yeah. Doing it while you're still scared. I think
Yes.
you're absolutely correct. And I just want to share with you that, as Kim and I, she started as a classic VA for me. And as we were going through the motions, and I realized her capabilities, and I suddenly figured out that this woman is smart, and you are very smart. And then we started talking about where we can take this. And I remember, Kim, very early on, where you said to me, well, but I'm an engineer, and I almost fell off my chair. And I said, I mean, but that is what brings your brain that things in a particular way to the table that will allow us to do so much more. And then you shared how much you wanted to support the community in the Philippines and help other young women, mothers like you, to elevate their families and get out of poverty, and to build a community that is thriving, and share your knowledge and your wealth, and take as many people to the top with you. And so that's how we kind of got to this. So I want to tell you all of this up front, so that there's a lot of thought and insight that went into this, where we decided that, based upon what we saw with our clients, that there was so much that we could help and that we could do that really will build a community and help a community. So back to my story. Now I've got so nicely digressed here, but I felt it was really important to say that. I did end up being a producer in Los Angeles. A lot of you have heard my story, and I'm not going to go too much in my story today of overcoming 10 years, 13 years of just brutal hardship, fires, floods, riots, earthquakes, a lawsuit, a tsunami. And, and I did amazing things in my business. And then I lost it. I lost it all. And that was because of a lawsuit against an employee that betrayed me and stole my business. And then September 11th, which wiped out my entire production business. And I had, clients, Mercedes-Benz, Wrangler, Levi Strauss. I mean, I had a really, really, really great time doing it. But what happens is that with all of these obstacles that are in my way, and I know, and I've talked to quite a few of you over the years, there is a lot of adversity we are always facing. So think about, like, what are you up against right now? Coming out of the pandemic, finding your footing again, rebuilding your clientele, finding new clientele, getting to, create the freedom, the wealth that you really came to hear. Ava is, dedicated to helping single mom entrepreneurs. So what is it that you are actually up against? And then how are you going to get out of it? So the business side of things is always changing. And before COVID, I was speaking a lot about women leadership. I was doing a lot of keynoting. I was in Silicon Valley. I talked about diversity, equity, inclusion. Things were going. And then COVID came and it kind of got completely wiped out, because while women leadership is still a thing, but nobody's putting that kind of money in it because we have other issues right now. So I had to, like many people, refocus and say, well, what is it that we are actually doing? So one of the lessons that I learned is that if you want to make an impact, and my question to you is, put it in the chat, are you here to make an impact? Because if you want to make an impact and be the authority, you cannot be a best kept secret. It just doesn't work. People need to know who you are and why they should work with you. But it's on you to tell them. It's always like that nobody's coming. Nobody's discovering you. There's no producer that's sitting next to the table overhearing a conversation, getting up and saying, would you like to be the host of a television show? It's not going to happen. I mean, it might, but chances are it's not. So you are going to need to stop waiting and take the risk or shut it down. That was my option. It's like, take it or shut it down. Because why bother otherwise? It's like when you eat chocolate. If I eat chocolate, it better be really good chocolate. It's better be worth the calories I put in my mouth. Because if I eat shitty chocolate, it's not even worth it. But if it's like a really good, truffle, then at least it's worth it. And Ava says, I'm making an impact. I just need to make money too. Well, hello. Yes. Hi, Jay. I want to have as many businesses as I can to keep them in business. Yes, you sure do. And also don't expect clients always to give you a shout out. I helped a client earn over 6,000 sales in less than 2 weeks and didn't even get a tag on Instagram. She said, thank you, but I would have loved a public shout out. Yeah. So when you have authority, you think that Gary Vee or Grant Cardone doesn't get a shout out every time, they walk somewhere in a coffee shop and they toast and they meet somebody's taking a selfie and giving them a free shout out. You are absolutely right. Ask for the shout out. So it's great when people like you, but that does not pay the bills. Have you noticed that? And I needed to create things for my business, for the business to work. And they are strategy, the system, the authority, and the client attraction system. And write this down or take a screenshot of this, because this is the order it goes in. First the strategy, then the system, then you build your authority, and then an attraction system. So the reality of it is, if somebody does it, it's possible. If it's possible for you. Then what prohibits you from getting what you want? Provocative question. What is it that is in your way of getting what you want? Is it fear? Is it money? And what would your life look like if you had the authority? Because if we're building something, this is part of the strategy. You have to have that vision really clearly in your head. What will this look like? Enough funding. You are standing on stages. People are noticing you. People are going to the back of the room after you've spoken, and you're handing them your card. They're signing up for your courses. What is authority for you? You're invited to speak on panels, on big events. You are filling your own events. What's authority mean? That you need to have clear in front of your head. Asia says, people respect my time. Yes, absolutely. It's like, do you think when you go to any of the sharks on Shark Tank that there's any dilly-dallying? I mean, if you don't respect their time, you don't get any. So this is really one of the pieces, and write this question down separately, because I want you to spend some time on this, on what does it look like if you had more authority in your life? Because we can only build that authority if you know what that looks like. So another thing is, in order to build authority, you're going to have to do a thing you're scared of. And that is to put the spotlight on yourself. How easy is it for you on a scale 1 to 10? And just put the number in the chat. How easy is it for you to talk about yourself and not feel awkward about that? 1 being it's terrible, and 10 piece of cake. Excellent. We're getting some good numbers here. All right. Well, we have anything from from a 1 from a 1 to a 10. Excellent. I love that. So we got the, yeah, it does take practice. That is for sure. So talking about ourselves is for many people awkward, or it takes practice. So we want to look at when we have this vision of you being this authority, being on stage, being recognized, being in magazines, in newspapers, being on news shows, being the expert that's being interviewed, being on podcasts, having high visibility on LinkedIn, lots of followers, high engagement. If that's the vision, then is what you're doing right now working? Because if you don't have that, then there is a disconnect between the vision and where you are at right now. And that really determines how much you want to grow. So I sold my business to Bill Gates because I had made a determination that I really wanted to have an equity event. That's how I set it up. That's why we set up systems and strategies, because we wanted to be able to hand over our business to Bill Gates or a company that would buy us. So what you want, and I keep driving this point home, what you want is determined by what we will be doing to help you to get there. If you want $150,000, that's a completely different strategy than $1 million. Completely different strategy, 5 million. Completely different strategy than a 10 million. So that is the authority that you need. So here's a quote I saw: "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." Now, authority and claiming authority is requiring you to say, I am a subject matter expert. Jay says, I used to feel like I would be humiliated and feel small. Yeah, of course. That's normal. It's normal for all of us, because we feel that somebody's going to come and say, well, but you don't know this, or what makes you say that? Because that's how we are raised, is to wait for our turn, to not brag, to let the quality of our work speak for ourselves, to be seen but not heard. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And then somebody goes and says, that doesn't work. Now you have to claim authority. So how are you going to do that? You're going to have to do something that you're going to be afraid to do, because that's where the piece is. So out of these, what's been holding you back, if anything? Is it the time? You don't have time to grow your authority? Is it that you feel you don't know how? There's fear, there's concerns, money concerns, uncertainty. Is it a lack of courage? Or is it skill set, mindset, or an action set? Thank you, Jay. Courage. I appreciate your honesty. Ava says, I need script writer and an avatar of myself to be a good public speaker. Asia says, I was raised to be humble, don't brag, show improve method. Maybe I need therapy to break through this. Yeah, you kind of do. Kim, what about you? Have you been raised to talk about how brilliant you are?
Like Asia, we were raised that we should not be proud of ourselves. It feels bragging whenever we appreciate and celebrate ourselves. So that's what's holding me back.
Thank you for being so honest about this. And that's why, why I'm so proud to be able to work with you, Kim, because I think that's the best part about my work, is because I get to see the brilliance in other people, because that's my skill set, to help them put this out up front and really shine with that. And then I see this and I'm going like, what is wrong with you? Why are you not telling the world on how unbelievably brilliant you are? All right, so let's take a look at the comments here, because you guys are active. I love that. So Tabby says, fear, uncertainty, some business skills, copywriting skills. Yeah. Oftentimes, Tabby, you're absolutely correct. There's a number of different things. Sarah says skill set and action set. Yeah, taking the action and not knowing what to do. Blake, uncertainty. Jabez says, my grandma taught me otherwise. Yes, be a good boy, right? Martina, I've used physical intelligence to change the limitations I was facing, low level of self-esteem, having the courage to speak up. Nakia, raised not to brag because I didn't have to prove anything to anyone. Barrett said, mindset and action set. Golam, how do you know exactly that you're good at something? Oh, that is a brilliant question. You know that you're really good at something if it's so easy for you that you can't imagine that it's difficult for anybody. Like when I give Kim something for her to figure out, she just goes boom, 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 boom. And then she'll say, why did you go in the back end of your website and make a change? That's my job. You should not be doing that. And then she goes, and you're not really even very good at it. So why don't you just let me handle this? So it is there's a super skill that we innately have that makes things so easy, but because our traditional school systems, and I know Jabez is going to be able to say something about it, in our traditional school system, we are trained to look at things we are bad at and then feel bad about the things we're not good at, because it's expected that we're good at everything, at every subject. So if we are great in writing or great in math and we're not good at another thing, then we need to feel shame for the things that we're not good at. So we go out into the world, in the work world, thinking that we have to cover for the things that we're not good at and torture ourselves to get better at it, versus just letting that go, finding people who can do that for us and focus on the things that we are good at. That's why so many people have a problem even knowing what they're good at. I thought that was an excellent question. Thank you so much, Golam. That was really a really good question. So now Let's talk about another really painful part about lack of authority. What's it costing you? How long have you been working on or trying to get this figured out? Months? Years? Is it like a circle that keeps spinning and spinning? Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes up. You have good years, you have bad years, but you never really get ahead. How much money have you invested in programs? And is there a cost of your self-esteem and your confidence? What about the personal sacrifices, the frustration, the disappointment, the anger? Is there anything else? Like, what does it cost you? I have met people literally that have been working on trying to figure out the issue on how to take authority and how to be looked as an expert in their industry. And over years, it's almost like it's diminishing instead of growing. That costs them hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost income. What does it cost to not do what you need to be doing? So what's the cost of clients you're not serving? You know, I'm always thinking about Tabby, you know, and Tabby's here, and I took one of her classes, and I think she's brilliant. It's like, how many more people would I want her to serve so that she can really make this impact that she has in the world, that she's here to do? And how much time have you invested in figuring this out? And what is your time worth? If it's $100, $250, $500 an hour, and you waste your time, I mean, you're looking at anywhere from $30,000 to $500,000 a year of loss by not stepping into what you've been called here to do. So if you do what you always did, you will get what you always got. So I want, you know, and I'm driving this point home for a particular reason. I want you to, you know, step into this self-awareness piece and say, what am I really here for? I'm a business strategist, but I work with people that obviously have feelings and emotions and wishes and desires. So it's important that we connect with your desire and your passion, because if we can't activate that, then there is no action that can follow that will be consistent. You need to want this. I cannot want this more for you than you want this for yourself. You need to want this for yourself. You need to want to stand there and say, enough already. It is time for me to show what I have and who I am, and I'm going to tell the world. And my time is now. I cannot wait anymore. That's where you need to be. So what does it cost if you don't take action and solve the lack of authority right now? And that's not something we need to put in the chat. That's really a question for you. What is the transformation that you seek? Are you at a point where it is enough of the struggle already? Enough of it. Other people are doing it. It's possible you can do this. Is this the time now? So now, that's when we're going to go now in the next step. So there's two things. So number one, there's always going to be fear. I want to be very clear about that. The terror barrier, as it's called, or the fear, there is no safety ever. You know, even people that have have houses and that are employed, right? There is no safety for them because they can lose their 401k. A bank can go bankrupt. I mean, we've been through this before. There's no safety. So it doesn't exist. The fear is your constant companion, and you need to learn how to embrace that. You replace it with action, because action is what you can trust. So the discomfort that comes from stepping from one level to the next level is always there. It's there for me too, as we are stepping, you know, from this level to the next level to the next level, because what gets you here doesn't get you to that next part. So you have to stretch, and there is fear, because it's fear of the unknown. You're losing control. That's what the fear is about. So success is not defensive. Success is active and progressive. Quantum leaps require a risk. Require. And you cannot escape it, but you decide what risks you can take. So that puts you now back in charge. So here's what I don't want you to do. Don't invest anything without a strategy. Do not confuse authority with celebrity. Most of us talking heads, people that are experts, to be a celebrity like whatever Gary Vee or Grant Cardone, that or Tony Robbins, that takes a massive operation. That takes 20, 50 full-time people that do nothing other than build your authority 24/7 and millions of dollars to do this in time. For most of us on this call, that's not what you want. Authority is an industry expert. You can have 10 people pay you $10,000, and that's a $100,000 program. That's good. You can have 30 people in a program that pay you $3,000, right? So authority is the industry expert status where you want to be, not what's out there. And so the less you get confused by that, the better it is. The chase of the next thing, internet marketing by definition is designed to keep you thinking you're missing something. Because all the big internet marketers that have these massive lists have a system where each of them has a piece, and then they hand you to each other through these affiliate offers, constantly challenging you to learn how to speak from stage, to sell from stage, to launch a product, to funnel hack, to be a better digital marketer, and on and on and on it goes. It is designed to make you think that their program is the strategy. That's false. You need to have a strategy first and then decide which of those programs fits into the strategy. So stop chasing, start with a strategy. Again, we went through the cost and this. So I want to ask you, how urgent is it for you to claim your authority today? What's the urgency? Is it a 10? Is it screaming in your face? I always compare this to, Kim, we always talk about it like it's the voice inside. How loud is that voice? Is it screaming? Is it whispering? Is it going like, you got to be doing something? What was it like for you, Kim, when you made your big change? How loud was that voice in your head?
It's deafening.
Deafening.
Yeah. Like, I don't have any choice. If I wanted a change, it speaks so loud. I don't have a choice but to follow it.
Yeah. And that's kind of like an interesting place to be in, right, Kim? Because you feel like you need to be doing something, but you don't know what that looks like. You don't have the path, and you're just freaking out.
That's where it came.
Yeah, deafening. Oh yeah, that's a really good word. We might be actually using that. Thank you for sharing that, Kim. It's amazing. All right. So all right, what are the 4 secrets to growth? So number 1, the strategy. I talked about this. That's where you want to go. Number 2, your signature growth system, which is what Asia did, the client transformation journey as a differentiation factor. Growth authority max, which is what we talk about today. Establish your expert status by consistently maximizing your content. And then the 4th one is the growth authority client attraction machine. That is business development optimized so that you can prospect and convert. So here is the overall strategy behind growth architecture. And you can take a screenshot of it if you want to, so you kind of have an idea on how we built this. So all of these sides, as you can see, are equally important. The strategy is important, the system is important, and the authority is important. And in the middle is what we call the uncovery, because we don't know yet where the disconnect is, or where a misalignment is, or where something is missing. So we always start with the uncovery to figure out what are the issues, and then we figure out where your priority is. And then from the priority piece, that's when we look where is the highest income potential, and that is what's going to come first. So the growth strategies, you must know where you want to go and have a strategy on how to go there. We do this in a program called Growth Strategy, where we scale your implementation. That's, when we work one-on-one together. The growth system is for you to be able to say clearly and concisely in your prospect's language that your clients understand what problems you can help them solve. This is specifically important for people that have multiple pieces that they offer, and they want them to be cohesively connected under one umbrella. This is our 8-week mastermind. The growth authority, what we talk about today, is to stand out as an industry expert to maximize your message and grow your impact. And we talked about why authority matters. It matters because it is your business card. It is how you're being perceived, is how you show up in the world, and how people have that very first impression of you. That's our growth authority max, which we literally launching today, is designed to simply take content and maximize your message. Growth authority, our fourth piece, that is consistently bringing in clients with your client attraction machine. So we haven't finished this yet, but most likely it's going to be a workshop. If this is something that you are interested in, just put your name and interested in the chat, and we'll reach out to you when that's done. It's probably going to be another month or 2 months before we get to that. That's where we, talk about podcast guesting, hosting, executive roundtables, using Instagram as a strategy, and all these pieces. That's our next piece that we're bringing out, but we don't have it yet. So if that's something you're interested in, again, just put your name in the chat, your name with a yes, so that we know to reach out at the right time. So the steps are, you're going to claim your authority. We're talking about authority platform building now. You have to claim your authority. The story that Muhammad Ali famously said, "I'm the greatest boxer of all times," was because one day he decided he was going to be the greatest boxer of all times. And then he went into his opponent's face, an inch away from his face, and he yelled at him and says, "You're going to get beat up. You're going to be so sorry because you're going to be up against the greatest boxer all of times. And I'm the greatest boxer of all time. I'm going to beat you up. And you're going to lose so bad. You're going to crawl back home to mama and you're going to cry." Nobody called him the greatest boxer of all times before that. He called himself that. Now, not that you need to be beating anybody up or anything like that or threaten to do that, but that's how you claim authority. I am the growth architect because I called myself the growth architect. And then other people say, well, she's known as the growth architect, but I gave myself that tag. Or you go to, use a PR opportunity and you say, well, she's also been called the growth architect. And now I've been on television and, probably about, I want to say about 150, 170 podcasts, and they all call me the growth architect. So now I can say everybody calls me the growth architect, because they really do all call me the growth architect, but I called myself the growth architect first. So you have to claim your authority by owning that tag that you give yourself. Step number 2 for authority, define their problem. And this is very interesting to me because you are wanting to tell them all the things that you're really good at. The only thing that they're interested in is what's in it for them. And then the relevance piece in the middle, that's really the message that we're here to solve. So you have to be very clear about what problems you solve, because that's part of the authority platform. Content has to be very, very specific. So number 3, you have to tell them now in your content consistently how you solve these problems. And Kim, what are some of these social media things that we do that keep this message in front of the audience on an ongoing basis, on our followers? We do testimonials. What else?
Yeah, that's correct. We do testimonials. We also even do engagements. And these engagements are prompts that speaks to our audience in such a way that we are like finding their problems for them, but not really directly telling them. So we also do reels, in which at the end of each reels there are like a call to action for them, that they get the value of what the growth architect is has to offer without even hopping on a call with B. So yeah, those are some of the things that we do on our socials.
Exactly. And so the engagement piece, right, on how you consistently tell them how to solve these problems. When you have that idea on what you're an authority in very clear, and if you do different things, you have the umbrella, right? Growth architecture, I help with 4 things to build businesses. When that is really clear, it's easy to create the content, because then you speak to the pieces that you talk about. You can ask the relevant questions. You can be on the relevant podcast. You can have all the relevant connection pieces. That's what's really critical in authority platform building. And that is how you attract and convert clients, because they see you out there consistently and they say, why, my God, you're like everywhere. Well, that's because, there's so many touch points now that, people used to say you need 7 touch points. Then they said it's 12 touch points. It's way more than that. I think that you need oftentimes hundreds of touch points on social, specifically before people even start to remember you or engage, because there's so much content out there, so much noise you have to get through. Unless you do this consistently, it's just not going to work. So does this work? Yeah, it works for everybody. I mean, we have clients all over the place that are doing these things. And so let's just see.
Hello, I am Julie. Just finished 2 amazing sessions with Beate, the growth architect. Let me tell you, what we managed to accomplish in that time was crazy. She has helped me revamp even my introduction, because I am no longer just the brain lady, but I am the brain lady that presents everything that we do being rooted in science. And to achieve the best, highest performing brains, it's not wishful thinking. It is not woo-woo. This is the science of optimizing your brains, and all that optimizing the brain, all those fancy things Beate helped me with. So I think anybody should do this, really. The benefit of what we have, when you see the mural that the mural pages that she has with us, I mean, there's so many brainstorms that we came up with. Our brains were on fire. And she was the catalyst for that. So I've got a lot of homework to do. I came out with 21 programs, if you will, lots of different powerful techniques or powerful programs. Well, to my clients, what it is I do and the value of bringing me in and working with them. And that's the value of what Beate does for you when you work with her. So if you need systems, formulas, brainstorming, innovative thinking, Beate's your gal.
So one of the things on what I like about what Julie says here is that, she's already an expert in her industry. I mean, she's already known as the brain lady, but there was a piece missing where she wanted to get into a higher level client that had more money, more in corporate. So it didn't sound like it was too woo woo, but it was that there was a real benefit. So we looked at very much what we talked about is like, what are we building her as an authority in? And so we said, if we are optimizing a brain, and if leaders and CEO and C-level executives really need brain power to perform at optimum, they need to bring her in, and she can, through her programs, help them on how the brain works, how to be more persuasive, how to have other people understand them and make their brain function and safeguard their brain, because there's other things that social, like all the social media, the noise, electronics, internet. So it was very, very powerful. So this is just an example of when we talk about authority platform building, building you as an authority, there has to be clarity around that. So authority is not being a celebrity or an influencer. Authority is industry expertise. Thank you, Tabby. Yes, you said you had another call. You can catch the rest of it in the replay. So thanks for being here. So exciting to have you participate. The next thing is that there is inconsistent messaging and no cohesion. Kim, can I ask you, what happens when somebody posts random things of themselves on a vacation, on a golf course, speaking, driving a car? What happens when the content is inconsistent or has no cohesion? What happens?
Most likely the audience does not have an idea of what to look forward into your content, versus if your content strategy is much more structured, your audience gets the feel of, okay, they get to know this. You at first you will not realize it, but as you post and be consistent about it, your audience gets to notice that, okay, in each week, Beate or the growth architect is putting out helpful tips on business strategies, on business development. And so if you're just putting out random things, you're not giving them, or you're not giving your audience a way for them to remember that you are someone that is an authority, an expert on this particular subject.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kim.
And that's not, I mean, social media is here for free, and we want to leverage that. We want not just to post out our personal, also what we would like to be known for, what impact we would like to bring to our audience, to our target audience. So yeah.
No, I think absolutely correct. You said it. If it's random, oftentimes these random posts are conceived about how great you are. I mean, there is a market for that. There's a whole bunch of people out there, especially young men, that do the girls, the cars, and the whatever the airplane sets that they rent to make it appear like they have so much money to throw around. That certainly is a brand. It's not really, that's not what we do. We're not really interested in that. But these posts that just showcase how great you are, that's one way to do it. But I don't find that to really work in the long run, because people want to know what you can do for them. And this is all about building the trust. Outdated, random, irrelevant content doesn't work. Oftentimes, I also see that people take stuff that they've done a long time ago, and then they go and say, well, I don't have anything else. I'm just going to post this real quick. Or you take in your pure desperation a photo of your food. Other than Asia, nobody's allowed to take photos of food because Asia is in the food and restaurant business. It just, what does this do for anybody if you show them that you're having this, supersized margarita somewhere, unless it's a deliberate thing, giving myself a reward after a full day of workshop or hanging out with my peeps, discussing whatever it is that you're discussing. It has to be really clear. What I used to do is I talked about myself a lot. I tried to convince people that I knew my stuff. And then I realized the sharks don't do that. They don't. I mean, the authority figure doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. The authority figure is an authority because they said they're an authority and they act like an authority. So my question to you now, what are you so far? What are you taking away? Is there anything that stands out for you that where you already go now, well, I think I really need to be looking into this for myself. Anything yet that stands out that you can share with us? And I'm just going to move on because we still have a lot of content to cover. So you need to get very clear what it is that you do for them, what that expert status is that you provide. What are you the expert in? Then we design the strategy and the system so that there's a clear differentiation factor. And then we build your content maximization. And then we design your client attraction system. So now put these numbers in the chat. What of this applies to you? Is it about money that you haven't been doing this yet? Is it that you really fall back to the same pattern and you think that this time's going to be different? This time when you run the program, you're going to really make the money and you're going to break through it and it's going to happen. Are you looking at figuring out what's the thing that you can offer that will stick? Which of these, and just put the numbers in the chat so I kind of get an idea. Or you don't have a client journey yet, where there's only one offer, but there's no cohesive client journey, and you don't have enough products or services you can offer. You want to increase your authority, but it feels daunting to claim that spot for yourself. We already answered that. You're not serving enough people. You're not making the impact. You're not living up to your potential, and you're not making the revenue. Or is it that your prospects don't understand how freaking fabulous you are? And is it now or never? You can't wait anymore. Or 9, is it just plain frustration? It's like, what the heck is going on here? Ajana says it's a 7. So your prospects don't understand how fabulous you are. Ava says, wrecking your brain, what that offer is that can stick. And it's now or never, you can't wait anymore. Barrett says you're not serving enough people. So you see, you all have your individual reasons on why you haven't really pushed through this, because there's like a piece missing. So shall we? Asia says 5, 6, and 8. So you want to feel authority. I know you and I worked on this a little bit, and I think we can work on this a little bit more to get you there. And serving people, and now or never. Yes, also fighting the invisible competition. Yes. Well, competition is always going to be there. You can't really pay much attention to that. You're just going to have to tell them why you are the logical choice in this. So what clients say before they come to me is that they're wasting time, they're scared, overlooked, they lack a clear vision, they want to grow smarter, they don't have time, they need to find the right people. So there's a proven path. It's up to you on whether or not you want to take it, right? So this is not a hard sell that's coming now. You don't have to buckle up or prepare yourself. My job is to help you figure this out. And then you decide whether or not you want to go. So where are the holes in the way you approach this? Most of the time, it is a lack of the clarity of where you want to go, the system, and then it's a lack of authority because you're just not claiming the authority because you're waiting for something to happen. That's never going to happen. So one way to start is to claim the authority credibly and expert status by showing up consistently. Number 1 is the content. Is you grow your authority and expert status with the content maximization system, where you're constantly out there, and that really fine-tunes over time how people perceive you. Next question for you. And again, just put the number in there. Do you create and post all your content yourself? And then watch Kim's face when I say that, because she does not want any. Do you want any CEO to post their own content, Kim?
If they want to be called a CEO, do they really want to be called a CEO?
If
they
you
do
really want to be
that,
called a CEO, then that's a no for you.
really a no.
Exactly. So that's really what it is like, why would you be posting all the content yourself? You had VAs, but they don't have a system. They don't do what you pay them for. The content doesn't look right or is inconsistent. It's exhausting to hire and train somebody in social media. You can't find anybody who has a system. That's why most VAs, by the way, don't work. Is very simple. Is because you find a VA and then you think they have a system, and the VA looks at you and says, "What is your system?" And when the VA doesn't have a system and you don't have a system, Kim, what's the result of such a terrible state?
Both of you will be burned out. At first it will work, but you will really find sooner or later that it's just got frustrating, not just for you, but also for the VA.
Exactly. Because it sets up the VA to fail. And there's a lot of components that take your time: Canva, Hootsuite, posting schedules, production, editing, and the whole 9 yards. And, maybe you wish that somebody can do this for you and make you look good. I need to follow my system, Jay says. Well, the problem that you can't follow your system, Jay, is very simple, because it's too much work. As a CEO who is needing to be in client acquisition and client service and following through and then performing, how are you gonna do that? And how are you gonna pursue clients, find clients, convert clients, service clients, and then at the same time do all your social media? I mean, it's just simply not possible. So what would your ideal content maximization system look like? Well, so here's a quick video from Jan.
Jen, I'm the creative director of Drawing from Memory. Before we met Beate, we were struggling with just having a very strong and concise message around what our product offering really was. We felt like we did, a lot of things without a full description of what it was that we really did. By using Beate's process and framework, we were able to really sort of connect and dive deep into all of these sort of convergent ideas and bring them together in a very concise and really creative way that we both really gelled at quickly, or we gelled upon really quickly. So right now where we are is we have an incredibly strong and powerful framework that is, I think, really exciting. All I want to do is work on this and not do any of my work that I really need to do. But we have a very strong product offering and vision for how to bring that to life. So I would absolutely recommend working with Beate and using her process and methodology to streamline the work product that you have and to bring that to a larger audience.
So when I worked with Jen, and that was a couple months ago, since then she's already signed a bunch of new clients. She said she only needs like one more client and then she's full. And it is all about, how do you articulate what your zone of genius is, your expert status? And then once you have that, how do you go out and tell the world and then bring the content out? So let's talk about Growth Authority Max for you. So number one, the biggest problem that we see is the consistent content distribution system, which is literally everybody needs that. Second problem is finding, training, and keeping your VA busy, and even knowing what you need to tell them. Because, I mean, if you don't know, you can't tell them on what is entailed in this. Number three is the lack of consistent branding and messaging. I always check out everybody's social And I am sometimes absolutely shocked what people are posting that has nothing to do with what they do. I give you like one example, and then you can laugh with me along with me. A lot of times when it's younger men, I see a lot of shirtless posts. Not to say that I don't appreciate a gentleman who takes care of his physical appearance, but if that guy applies for a sales position in my company, do I really need to see him and his buddies on his social media drinking shirtless at the beach? Right? So if I have a professional appearance and I have a purpose, and my belief system now at this time where we are with social media is very simple. When you need your friends, please go out with your friends and have a good time. Social media, for most of us on this call, is designed for client attraction and authority. That's it. I mean, your personal Facebook, not the pages and not the groups, you can certainly use for your interaction, but most of this interaction that is on social is really designed for clients, and you should treat it as such. The next problem is verifiably demonstrating relevant authority, industry expertise, and then having a highly trained VA that comes with a system that works and can deliver what they're promising. You need to start to attract clients by being a trusted advisor first, and that is through the consistent content. Here is Jessica. Jessica worked with me. We built her system. She walked out 7 days later and closed a $50,000 job with a luxury brand. I mean, that was absolutely amazing. Here's Pat Roquet. She worked with me, and then she closed within a month, Amazon and Reckitt, and then she brought me in. So let's talk about growth authority so you know what that is, and then you can decide on whether or not we should have a conversation about this. You always have the option to do this on your own. You can take what we talked about and now go out and do this entirely on your own and create the content based upon what we've outlined, be consistent, claim your authority expert status. Then the question is, how much time do you spend on creating and posting your content, and how many touch points do you have per week? The number to create good content is what, Kim? Is about 10 hours a week to do all the editing?
Yeah, that does not include you recording yourself or producing your own content. That's only for the repurposing, editing, and such.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So we estimate in our experience that it is 10 hours just to post, edit, create, and do all the pieces of content. And then it's about 2 to 4 hours to actually do the videos or the podcasts or whatever the messaging is that you kind of go out there, or do the photos, the photo shoots. Option number 2 is we do it for you. This is what Growth Authority Max is about. This is a service where we do all of this for you. Option number 3, if you have clients in the industry, we can white label this for you, and you can offer it as one of your services. This especially works for podcast producers, podcast bookers, or anybody who has clients that need their content out consistently as well. So Growth Authority Max is a done for you content maximization service to get you the visibility and online presence that you deserve. How much work is this going to be for you? So we are launching a beta version of this. Right now, all we're looking for is for 5 people who want their content out consistently. You need 2 to 4 hours per month. That's what we need from you to create the videos. You give us 4 videos or podcasts, your own created content. we turn them into, I think Kim corrected me, she says at minimum 16 to 30 weekly content pieces across all social media. So it comes out to anywhere between 65 to 130 pieces of touch points per month. That includes audiograms, quotes, reels, carousels, shorts, personal images, testimonials, questions, features. We have a whole toolbox of quotes you can choose from, so you don't even have to find your own quotes. You can just go there and pick them. We already have a number of questions that we have posted. So we have a really solid portfolio that we've built to make this really, really quickly and fast. This is again, designed for anyone in a small business that that wants to turn up their authority literally overnight. We engineered the content planning system. Kim, do you want to talk a little bit about what's entailed in the planning?
So for the content planning system, this part, we will need to go or hop into a call, the client and me, wherein we will have to lay out what are your pillar of content, what are the themes, multi-themes that you would like to have for, let's say, 6 months to a year. And then I would show you on this part, what are the things, the specific things that we need from you to be, and how do we turn it into daily, weekly, and monthly posts.
Thank you. Exactly. So in the planning, what we have find really works is that you want to go out and you want to plan this out ahead of time. So no more last minute, no more 8 o'clock at night with your phone in your hand. You go like, damn, I didn't post anything today. And then, just like somehow while you're supposed to have dinner or be on a date with your significant other or your kids, you go and you do something else. None of that. The second part is the content creation system. So first we plan this. And so in the first month, the planning system, you get your own templates. We customize templates in your brand colors and with your logo. We set this up in your own canvas. It's not our Canva. And one of the things we talked about in the creation of this is that we wanted to make sure that you have full control over your content and you have everything that we create. So if at any given time you say, I'm good, I don't need this anymore, you have all the content in your own hands. We do this in Google Workspace. We've created all the templates. We have a whole system. And now we go into the content creation system. Kim, talk to us about what is the content creation system? What does it entail?
So in the content creation system, this is the actual creation or editing. So in this part, we would be, your role would be just to provide us with the raw content. So as what Beate have said, it entails 2 to 4 hours per month. And after that, you can just sleep and wait for us to send you the output or the edited output for your review.
Exactly, because once the content is created, then there is a approval piece, so you can then go in and have and approve what we've done, and then we go into the content leverage system, which then is how we are being how all of this is posted. But again, all the systems are set up for you. This is very tactical, the way we have done it and the way we are running this, but this is really designed for maximum. So here is another one of my clients, Shoban from Catalyst. They literally closed in 24 hours a $100,000 deal. Here's Jen White again. Here's another testimony that I'm going to skip because I want to stay right now sort of with what we are offering. So what you get is your own content maximization VA. Now I want to be very clear. This is not a VA that does other things for you. This is just content maximization. We estimate that their involvement of time is going to be around 40 hours a month, just dedicated on your stuff alone, because that's just what it takes to create that. We built a whole content maximization system set up that's in Google Workspace with the templates, with everything. You get all of that. You get your own customized templates, a content calendar with monthly themes, which is, kind of like helps you in the content creation, and everything is set up in your system. This piece alone, I mean, we spent probably over $100,000, $150,000 in creating all of these pieces. But, the value, for somebody to buy this from us would be $15,000. In month number 1, there's going to be a kickoff where we will spend time together to build this. So there's a 3-hour workshop where Kim and I together will take you through the learning of how do we do these videos, what kind of images do we need, what kind of personal images do we need, what are we trying to achieve for your particular brand, because we are going to have to create these templates that are very specific for the way you look. Yes, I'll give more info on the white labeling. Thank you. Work with the team and design your brand templates, themes, and set up the content calendar for the first 3 months. So we work like a month in advance, but in the first months, we want to plan out for 3 months out, because we want to get in the habit of just getting started strong. And you will have an assigned VA. So Kim is going to supervise. She's the manager of the VAs. So she will be working with you on the high level stuff, but there will be a different VA that is dedicated to that. So that is a $12,000 program. In workshops with me are, the prices definitely have gone nothing but up, but that part is included. So you get Growth Authority Max, which is our content maximization service, 16 to 30 pieces of content a week, a total of 64 to 120 pieces of content posted per month. You build your authority and your expert status, consistent exposure to your ideal client. You get a VA who's highly trained in content maximization in a system that makes you really look professional. What it helps you to overcome is VAs who don't do their job, the stress of having to post, having to check every 5 minutes if the work is actually being done, not posting relevant or timely content, client looking at your social and not seeing an expert, and inconsistency across LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, getting ahead of your content calendar instead of running after it. So should we talk about this? I'm not selling anything right now, so you don't need a credit card. So none of this is happening. This is, we have to have a conversation first to see if you're a good client. If this is of interest to you, on whether you want to white label this or for yourself, is white labeling means that you are going to get a sales page that we are creating when we're in the process of this, that is branded in your content, in your colors, with your logo. And then you sell this to your clients. And then you get a commission every month from what the revenue is. And I'll tell you about this more in just 1 second. So you achieve and maintain a consistent look. That's what you want. And you want clear messaging, focus, and efficiency. That's when we should talk. You want to create consistent and high quality content for social posts on different platforms. If you've ever seen my content, I have a problem with cheap or bad looking stuff. It has to look good. It has to look professional. And you want to achieve content maximization goals, optimizing all your systems, alignments of objectives, and business purposes across all platforms. So how much time will this free you up? Well, I don't know how much time you're spending on your social media, but I can tell you how much time I spent before I talked to Kim. and I got nothing near what she does done. I would do my videos. I would edit my own videos. I had to learn iMovie. Then I had to upload it on YouTube. Then I had to write the content. Then I had to figure out the hashtags. Then I had to post that on LinkedIn. I had to write a piece on it. Then I had to write an article on the video. Then I had to have this article being proofread by somebody. And then that article had to be posted. Next thing I know, I'm literally spending 20 hours of my week just doing social media stuff. And it's just not a good use of our time. So we've really optimized this to take all the time you use down to 2 to 4 hours a month. I promise. If you do what I tell you how to do it, that's all you need to do. We do everything else. What will this allow you to do? You tell me. Imagine with all this free time, what would you do? I mean, I tell you what you should do. You should find more clients, right? And spend more time serving more clients, because all of this time is freed up. But put it in the chat. What will this allow you to do? Right? So the money, let's talk money, because I know you're waiting for this. Like, what is it going to cost? What's it going to cost? So to be clear, this is the content maximization piece. This is not guaranteeing that your content converts clients. It does happen that people see your content, says, oh my God, I need to speak to you. But we are helping you to get the content out and to build your authority. Most likely, you still will need a client attraction system in place to bring in leads and conversion and nurture, right? Yes, nobody has to start any VA service, but this is specific to content maximization. I want to be clear about that. This is not a general hire a VA service. This is a content maximization. It's very specific, but people want to build authority. It's an authority platform system. And most of the time, this is what most people do. They're busy with work. They sometimes post, sometimes don't. This particular person, is all over the place. He's still testing the message. He's still figuring out what sticks. Everything is random. Mostly it features him doing something. Even though he's an expert, he doesn't look like one on social. And he is missing out hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I know he does. So here's the money. To get started on the first month is $2,500, because we have to spend a lot of time with you, and there's more time than what we need in the monthly to build, the templates. We have a graphic designer who we pay to build your own customized templates. They're not templates that we buy. They're created specifically for you so that they are unique and they have a particular look. It has to be set up in your Canva, in our distribution software. So all these pieces actually have to be created for you. And we have the workshop. We teach you how to do the content. And then we help you with the themes and the content calendar. All of this has to be set up. It's a lot of work in the first month. After that, it goes to $1,500 a month if you're one of the 5 betas. So this is only available for the first 5 people that want to go in the beta program. It's very simple. You can either set up a call via my link, or you email it to me. We do all the posting. We have a system that we use where we create the entire content calendar. Kim, do you want to talk about that a little bit on how that works, the posting?
Yeah, we actually use currently Radar, which is a scheduling platform. Also, we also use Meta Business Suite. But if you are currently using your own, or if you already have your own scheduling platform, we can also utilize that.
Yeah, I mean, we like this particular program because it allows us to do actually a content calendar. So we highly, highly recommend that. We share all of our systems with you, but they're set up in your name for you. There's one thing that I hate. I've been in a lawsuit. I've had somebody try to take my business away from me. The one thing that I do not do is set this up and let you hang if something ever happens. You always have full access and full control over your content. You will always know where everything is. So now my question is, does anybody have questions? Because I can take you up and we have time for them questions, or you can put them in the Q&A in the webinar. But we should talk, if you want to free up your time, you want to really focus on bringing in clients and doing client work. I mean, you don't have time to do your social media. You want to look like an authority. You want to offer this as a service to your clients, but it has to be specific to content maximization, right? Because that's all this is. We are very clear what it is that we help our clients with. You want to get more engagement. You want to improve your visibility and SEO, because the minute all these links are out there that have these call to actions, you are getting higher visibility because there's more activity. We are working with the algorithms to get you all that. You want to be everywhere, get results, be taken seriously, grow your business, make a powerful impression. So you can either send me an email and do that right now, or set it up via my scheduling software. I definitely want to help you. We also have a service that that will help you with, all the, the branding. So if you need to help with the branding, we can bring in somebody to help you with that. We have somebody who does the Instagram authority, so we can get you the amount of followers. Maria says, I'm not sure if I'm the right client for this. I don't either, but the only way for us to find out is just send me an email. I know you've been around my circle for a long time. Let's just have a conversation. If it's right for you, great. If not, then we'll see what else maybe your business needs. This is not it. This is not pushing something on you. This is about helping you figure out what it is that you need to grow your business. My guarantee is you'll get the touch points or your money back. There was a question Jay had earlier, who does all the engagement. You do, because these are VAs from the Philippines where English is not their first language. We do not know how to respond in your voice or as an authority. So if somebody, Jay, you with the services you provide for small businesses, then says, hey, how quickly can you get me an estimate? The VA would not know that. So we want you to definitely monitor it, because the engagement is what you want. That's where you shine. That's how you bring them in. That's how you kind of convert them. What we will do on Instagram, we will do the follow and the like, as as the VA works on the Instagram feed. We'll go in and we'll make sure that there are pieces, and post a couple of emojis as responses to your feed. We'd be happy to do that. But the actual engagement, especially on LinkedIn, you need to do, because that is part of how you do your authority. So any questions anybody has? And I know that you guys have been on here for a long time. I know people have to drop off. I want to leave you with this one thing, and then I stay here for questions. This is such a fun little thing that I found so important. So Elaine Bennett posted this, and she says she was having dinner with a wise friend and told about a sparkling rainbow evening bag she's seen on sale in Nordstrom and an app. And then she says, when am I ever going to need an evening bag? Because I barely get out of my sweats. And a wise friend answered, maybe if you bought the bag, you get a date. So I bought the bag. And then she said, your move, universe. So this is really my final thought for you today, is to say, it's really your move now. It all comes down to one thing only. What is it that you want? And when we know what it is that you want, then we can go and help create that. And the best and easiest way is reach out to me personally. I am going to be answering this. And then we're going to get on a call. We talk about this. And then I'll help you first and foremost to figure out, is there a strategy that you need? Is there a system that you need? Is this content maximization right for you? Do we need to start with the client attraction? But you kind of need to have the content piece in place before you do the client attraction. Because if you do the client attraction, then they go to your social media and it looks, ugh, then that's not going to work. So you have to build that up before you turn the machine on, because this is otherwise you're wasting your time and energy, because then they can't verify that. So Ava says, you don't have to start your own VA service from the beginning. No, you don't. Asia says, thank you. I have to jump for a client call. Of course. Thank you so much, Asia, for being here. Jay, I'm so excited. Wealth, not money, wealth. You're absolutely correct. All right. Anybody else have any questions, or are we good? And for the few people that are left, what's the one thing you're taking away? Just share that with me in the chat so we can tell other people as they're watching the replay, what can they expect from listening to the replay. Just do me a favor and just give me a quick shout out there, talking about what we talked about today. What would you, I love your candor. You know, I don't have time for bullshit. I'm too old for that, Maria. You know, I'm here to help, and I'm here to help you make an impact. And if you want that, great. Jay says authority is everything. Jay, you're yeah. What can I tell you? Authority is everything. Any other comments? Kim, do you have any last words to the audience?
You just have to, of course, choose what's best for you, that you think. But we are here to help you. We're here to be actually partners with you in scaling your impact and growing your authority.
Thank you so much. Yes, well said. All right, everybody. I appreciate all of you being here and for allowing me to take you through this. We are here to help. Reach out if you have any questions. I hope I get to speak to you. And until the very next time, thank you so much and goodbye.